Okay. Okay, so the Berne Convention was this big thing that a bunch of countries got together and decided. And actually, the United States did not even really kind of join into this until several years later. So the rights that we have in this country when it comes to copyright are a little bit different than the rights outside of it, but they're all pretty much the same. And we did eventually, as a country, go and join the Berne Convention so that we all kind of have the same rules, especially, and that's super important now, even more so than it was then because of the internet and the fact that we can share information with a bunch of people all across the world and just at like the drop of a hat. So now, what rights does the author have in the United States? The right to reproduce. This is the first of the big ones. This is what copyright says. These are like the main pillars of copyright law. The person who has the rights to the copyrights, the person who created this in most cases, has the right to say who can reproduce, who can say who and how often somebody can reproduce their work, right? If somebody wants to reprint a print that I have, I can say yes or no based on if I want them to do so. And oftentimes this comes with payment. This is say, yes, you can reproduce my thing or you can post my thing on your video service or whatever if you pay me X amount of dollars. You have the right to do that. But I have the right to say who can reproduce. I also have the right to create derivative works, meaning if there is a movie, say something like Star Wars, if I wanted to create a toy line from Star Wars, I would have to make sure I get the rights of the people who created Star Wars. Because even though I'm not creating another movie, I am creating a derivative work of a movie that's the toy line that is based upon the intellectual property of these other people. It gives us can say who and how their works are used in new forms. This is a big one whenever you're moving something from the screen to the print to this if to from the print to the physical world and so on and so on. I also have the right to distribute to figure out who can sell copies or rentals for the rights that things that I create. This is one of the copyrights that I own, the right to distribute. So it's the right to reproduce, the right to create derivative works, the right to distribute. Those are the first three. The next two are the right to display visual works, meaning I can say who, how, and where they can be displayed publicly. And the last one is the right to publicly perform it. I can say who, how their works are performed in public. Right? So I can say how it can be shown and if it can be publicly performed, depending on. These are all of the rights. These five rights, as I go back to this one, to show right to reproduce, right to create derivative works, right to distribute, there's the right to display visual works, and the right to publicly perform. These are the five big rights that copyrights are allowed to you for free that you have instantly as soon as something is created and in that tangible fixed medium that you can actually see and touch. When it's further than an idea, that's when you have the ideas of copyright. Okay, so does copyright, you know what? We'll stop that right there. We'll go back.